How about my dearest YouTube friends? Today we are in a new video, and in this case we are going to make a video more of opinions. It's worth seeing how we think about this gauntlet of the brave, that we remember that it is the first time that, the first time that they put this new mission into the games, which in the end is a boo in the awards for a new difficulty. And as he has told us, Kaban this month and in the next they are going to be testing this gauntlet of the brave, and in the following months they are going to be testing another way of bringing us a new difficulty of the brave. So friends, the truth is I am going to bring you both the good things and the bad things that I have seen in this gauntlet El Brawente, to see if you agree or not. You have the comment box to comment on any kind of thing, whether you agree with the good things that I have put or the bad things that I have put. And if you guys would add any other topic, okay, I think this is it. Important to know more or less the feedback that everyone has through this gauntlet of the brave. Okay, so friends, let's start with the good things. And for me, a very good thing is that basically the energy we save on this mission is quite large. It's true that it includes a little less than 100% of the exploration of the broke. But I consider that the energy is quite good, and above all that it is all at once. I really like that, okay? That for me is quite a point in favor. What's the next point? Well, it encourages us to play with other champions who we are normally not familiar with. Let's remember, friends, that in a mission, we are only going to be able to walk through one character, okay? And that basically we have 16 fights, and that here we are going to have to be changing the character of the same class. That there are 6 missions, and each mission, has a class to do. So friends, here it leaves us, because a possibility of being able to play with characters that perhaps we had not thought of playing, that of breaking up. So I quite like that. What else do I like? Well, a general structure, and the flow is quite good, a very simple structure. So Kaban can have another way of doing the missions in, that is, rather focus his efforts on doing other types of missions that basically do a linear form of all the struggles of breaking us, because basically they are all the struggles of breaking us with a series of modifications of nodes, life, and power. So this makes it easier, they end. Well, do this mission and schedule it, and therefore they can focus all their efforts on other types of cases in the battle. Okay, apart from me, I thought it was very, very funny. It's pretty funny. I really like the model they've been using for this mission, because it's basically like the cruise fields, basically the crucible. You just have to go in with a character, you do the fighting, in this case Karnak, and you have to change necessarily the character for the same class to face the next one, and so on again, the next one, and so on the next one. Therefore, that is the truth that makes it a fight for me. Very dynamic fights, and I like it a lot. Okay, let's remember that these are the good things. Okay, then we'll talk about the bad things, because every positive point also has a negative point. Then what else do we have, friends? Well, if we are going to review the nodes of these characters, we are already seeing that by using a 7-star character. Here we have it pulling the 7-star rank, because they are going to be giving us a bonus for using 7-star characters, which is also a point in favor than in Breaking Thrones, because we didn't have it. It reminds me a lot of the enhancers they put in the axe. I think it was from Act 8, where if you used a 7-star character, then you had more strength. So in this case, it encourages you a little more to play with the 7-star characters. Then let's talk about the most important thing, which is the rewards, friends. For what the effort of this mission has been is totally incredible. The prizes they are giving us for simply finishing it, they are basically giving us grade 7 basic fragments, grade 4 alpha. They are giving 133,000 fragments of grade 6 basic experience runes. And then for each little mission, they give us 1,000 splinters of the Titan Splinters of 6. The truth is that they totally have awards. Crazy. And I consider that for the issue of the effort, they are one of the best awards that Kaban has brought for a monthly supervision. Logically, let's hope that these awards do not remain in the past, and that in the end, Kaban will update them as we go deeper into time in the game. If this Gauntlet of the Brave is really the mission chosen by Kavan that is going to stay in the future, they give us unique stones of 7. 7 unique stones for any more basic character. The truth is that the prices for me are the best, and finally speaking, as a good point in the Brave Glove itself, since I have noticed that the Lala IA stretches more super attacks. Therefore, that is quite good for us to make the fight more dynamic, but you have to be dancing, as I say, rather than being pushing back forward to force him to throw the over attack. For me, these are the good points this one has. This Gauntlet of the Brave, that there are quite a few, and the truth is that they have made it quite round. But friends, like everything in life, there are good points, and we are now going to focus on the bad points, because it is quite important that everyone watches this type of videos and this type of feedback so that they change it in the future. Let's start, friends, because of the duration of this Gauntlet, the Brave, and the truth is that it seems quite long to me. Okay, it is true that, as some have said on the forums and also in the forum itself, a WhatsApp group that we have in the description in case you want to stop by. In the end, it's a mission you have all month to do. That's true. But I don't know, friends, what I would do is maybe instead of walking an entire path, I would divide it into two paths. For example, it just occurred to me, if you want to reserve those 16 fights for the time being, okay, then I would put 8 on one side, 8 on the other side, and you would already have two paths. That makes it easier for us. Because, for example, there are not so many relics, but hey, that's a topic that we are going to touch on later. Okay, so that would make it a lot easier for us. We could be selecting 8 characters from the science class, for example, and then the same science characters. So that basically it takes us a little bit less to explore the mission so that we basically access the prizes. It is true that maybe they would have to divide the prizes. For example, the mission, some that give us everything of one. That is basically that maybe, because instead of putting 1,000 shards of one, well, I would put 500. 500 or 600 per well, or rather 400 per explore to finish it once and 100%, well, you already put in the remaining 600. So I would like that much more if they divided it into two paths, that they be the same struggles. And if they don't want to do that on Kaban's part, what I would do is reduce the struggles. So is it worth going from 16 fights to 12 or 13 for me? For me, that would be the perfect balance. It's good that it doesn't last that long, because we already discovered in stream that basically in 130 hours we only did this chapter, and this chapter. So to be able to explore 100% all this supervision of the Brave Hair Glove would be equivalent to almost 3 hours, even 330. If you don't have a totally beast account, okay, then I hope Kaman will change this either by reducing the number of 16 fights to 12 or 13, or directly doing two paths, just two paths with 7 for one, sorry, 8 for one side, 7 for the other side, and the boss. That it is common for both paths, or directly facing Red Guardian twice could also be on an 8 path and another 87 normal path. It's more the boss. Let's hope they change that. Okay then, friends, one thing that I did not like at all, that many people did not like either. And when you enter the fight, imagine we get meat, okay? But damn, the game is just disconnected and we enter the battle with half a life. Once again, we managed to win it, because basically here when we are going to select the character, he leaves us with the same life. That hurts me a little bit. It's okay if you want to make it a little complicated, but after 16 fights, in the end, the character's life is greatly reduced. That you don't want to do that? Well, basically put 100% regeneration every 3. Imagine, you spend the Karnak fight here. You go through the fight of flesh, through the fight of Yabari, you go through the fight of Bildu, and in this fight that is Purgatory, because here you already do 100% of the healing to the character you choose, which in this case will be the Mystics. So that could be, but that the entire mission is with 0%, sorry, 100% life, which is gradually reduced. It hurts me a little, because in the end they are forcing you to spend resurrectors and life orbs, because imagine, friends, that you don't put in the counter that you need for purgatory, and that you put in a character that you have made a mistake, that you have to restart the entire mission again. Well, you're going to have to be healing yourself. Okay, so I didn't like that at all. Okay, then I didn't like it either, but I see it as logical because of the issue of how the mission is generated. And you can't choose the same character because, for example, against Javari Panther, well, I can choose Satra, for example, where we have him here, we can fuck Satra, but nevertheless, later you see that Satra, well, can come good against this, where a world by night, so you can no longer be choosing that character. And with that, the one to the thing I said before, that it would be good if they left us 8k fights plus 8 fights in 2 paths to be able to repeat those characters. Okay, then what else do we have wrong, Stitch? Well, the IA is still quite clumsy, except that it does not throw super attacks since it becomes very slow, but that is a more general problem of the game and not of this mission. We therefore have the restriction and higher ranking versions of the champions. Is the character restriction worth it? Basically, if you need a 7-star Satra, as I said before, and we need another 6-star Satra, well, you're going to have to be racing the 6-star one, which seems silly to me. So that restriction does bother me a little. Then also, friends, we have the one that you will have to check, that your champions, that is the strongest negative point that this mission has for me. And all the time you are going to have to be checking that your characters have the relics, because basically there are nodes in which, maybe not in this mission, but there are nodes in which they tell you that since you are not using a relic, well, maybe you won't give it more power, or maybe you won't get your power. So friends, to give you an idea, are we going to go to the relics and see how many relics there are, for example? In the science class, look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, and 15. Okay, there are 15 relics among all the rarities, that there are so many 5, 6, 4, and 3 stars. Okay, it's true that I'm missing some, but they're already forcing you to leave the mission, enter the relics here, and I need to put another character in it. Well, I have to remove the one from Condenefaria from full, and I have to put it on the character. It seems scientific that I need that. The truth is that it seems like a pretty big delay to me. Or one of two, friend Kaman, or you add more relics than in theory. In a future, well, it will be, or you directly eliminate all types of nodes that have to do with relics. It is true that in Rompetronos we do have those nodes, and in the end they are better because you can select 6 characters, not just one of those relics. I would remove it, okay, and then remove it, and finally I think I would remove them. The specific nodes of specific labels, for example, I like that each chapter comes out with a class, yes, but for example, I think the tech class forces us to do it with Avengers characters so we can win more fights, more furies in that sense, to make the fight much simpler, friends. I consider that those labels should be removed because there are not that many characters. For example, look, let's put here Avengers of the Avengers. The thing is that they're literally, for example, from the class of the scientific class, we are literally going to take 7 and 6. Okay? Because they're the ones you're going to use the most. How many are there? Now 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, well, so and 11. Of them 11, you're only going to use Hulk, Quicksilver, Photon, Captain America, Infinity War. And I mean, why are you forcing me to use labels in something that in the end is an entire tour of 16 fights? Then Kaban should be removing that. But hey, this for me is the bad things and the good things. What do you think? Do you have the same feedback or what? Let's already remember that I have a video collecting all that feedback from the Brave One. Many people liked it. And other people are also highlighting these points that I just said in the video. But above all, I want friends. To know what you think about this difficulty of the brave, do you agree with what I have said, both the good and the bad, or would you add both the good and the bad? I want your feedback because I would like to know. So friends, did you like this video? And well, the last thing to say is that to me, the truth seems like a perfect addition to 1A to this game, makes it much simpler, but it is true that it would change what I have told you about the bad things. So friends, you like the video Surgers in Estice, and see you in other videos. Bye.